of your documentary, the Till Infinity of the Souls of Mischief, was it the case that you knew them personally because of being in the Oakland area, or was it something, were you just connected through friends of friends, or was it just because they're from Oakland that you created it, or were they your peers at one particular point?
Yeah, they are my peers. I've throughout my entire life, I've known them from day one.
Dope.
I was yeah, so it's grew up in the same neighborhood with Hyro, but just when I say day one, it's absolutely from day one because Festo D's dad and my father were best friends, and so
Oh, sick.
meaning like they were each other's best man in each other's weddings, like they were like best friends, and we were like Festo D and I like virtually like at a very young age were sort of like kind of grew up like cousins early on, in that like if our fathers are hanging out, they're like, okay, you guys go out and play. They're playing dominoes and drinking and having a good time, it's that kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so like from very early on, and elementary school, I was so like, we were all in the same neighborhood. Then also like in elementary school, I remember meeting A plus in the fourth grade, um, and yeah, he's the same person to this day. Like he's like A plus has always been the same. Um, but he was the first. He was like as a child, he spoke like an adult, like crazy. Like I always tell him that, like I was bugged out on like how like he was just. I mean, like A plus is not. It's not just a name. Like he really got good grades. Like he was the smartest kid I knew when I met him. Um, but yeah, so we were all. I've known the guys from High Road very early on, and came to know as the crew was formed. Like it, when I say the crew, like as people know them today, Hyro was a very large group of friends. Like you have
Right.
people who are either from certain neighborhoods or hang out with certain people from certain schools. Um, they were a part of a group of friends that I would hang with from time to time, and yeah, so I was around them and got a chance to see them develop from very early on. When I mentioned A plus, like Adam was always like, I mean, very like just serious. Like he would never say I'm gonna be a rapper. He'd always say I am a rapper. Like, and we were in junior high, and he's like I'm a rapper now, and like, and people thought he was absolutely crazy. But he was dead serious. Like that was what he was gonna do. And yeah, I had a chance to watch them develop over time. Like I definitely listened in on many a cipher, during school, after school. But it was a cool thing to watch them develop because they were so far ahead of, like we had the culture of sort of doing it yourself, like through Too Short, like seeing Too Short do his thing, and that was, we were kids and Too Short had tapes, and like he was releasing music um when we were growing up and selling it out of his trunk beforehand, like before like being on television and everything. We were experiencing Too Short through the tapes that were circulating around Oakland. And like of course again through my brother, I got that experience because he is a little younger than Too Short, but close, like in his age group. And so he was bringing those things home, and like to hear that stuff as a kid was like, oh my god, this is like no
Yeah.
other rap. Like he's rapping about things that you just didn't hear other rappers rapping about, like, um, so it was distinct, but and I think that we all like, those in Oakland from my generation, like born in the '70s, definitely were influenced by it was the music of our area, and we didn't. Too Short was it. We didn't experience, and Hammer came along a little bit later on, but like we didn't experience like E40 is synonymous with the Bay also, but he came along. I know for us maybe '89 or '90, where he was like, it definitely prominent on the scene, like, but before that it was like Too Short, and yeah, it was Too Short. It was Too Short early, but that influence was there. So seeing Hyro do what they were doing, like, they were making music in their basements, um, and that was like no one was really doing that except Too Short. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't know of anyone else who was like really like serious, but they were so much like they just to be clear, like the Cats in Hyro were like unique individuals, like they dressed different from everyone else. They stood out, especially like, moving into like the high school years. Like they were they were like, so they were celebrities walking around on campus almost, like because Dale was a little bit older than us, and there was always like this talk of like, oh yeah, like he's related to Ice Cube, put music out, and like there was just always this sort of talk, and then it happened.
Mm.
So like in '91, it happens, right? And like 1991, I am in the 10th grade. So if you think about that, like most of the guys in Hyro were like maybe a year or two ahead of me. So like
Mhm.
Casual's still at school with me. Opio's still at school with me. Pep is still at school with me. Like I think Pep may have come in the 12th grade, but like we're all at Skyline. And most oftentimes, like a lot of the lunch times, like they would have the sound system they would pull out on Fridays, and it was sort of like an open mic. So they put a beat on, and they just let whoever wanted to rhyme and let them rhyme, or like we have like these like cool lunch times, and whenever Hyro did anything, I mean, it was like a real show. It was like watching a real show. Um, and I've really, like now thinking about it, I really, because like I was learning about television production from the 10th grade on up, and I videotaped a lot of the football games. I had permission like from I was at a student run television station, and so I'd have access to this equipment. And so I would get a hold of cameras, like television production cameras, to like film our football games, our basketball games, and some of our like assemblies.
Mhm.
But I really wish I would have like videotaped some of these lunch times, but it was just like something that happened every Friday, like it was the norm. Um, but they were, I mean, like at that time, they were already on television. They were in Dell's videos. So like, you
Mm.
know, Dell had his first album out, and you know, the guys I grew up with, the guys who were, you know, in these videos and on Burnt, they're walking the campus of my high school. Um, so yeah, it was cool to watch them develop for sure. But I had
That's
a unique perspective, just watching them develop.
That's tough.